bunch of flabby asses, Jim Bowers, Demunseed here on the YouTube network, back at you. Hey guys, I'm up here in Tahoe City, right on the shores of Lake Tahoe. And I came all the way up here to talk to a gentleman about drone insurance. If you're not carrying drone insurance, you might want to consider it. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the Demunseed subscribers?
I'm Larry Lapkin. I own 5-Star Insurance Services right here in Tahoe City.
Okay, and Larry, as far as drone insurance goes, what types of different insurance can they cover themselves for?
Really, there's two major components. Obviously, the first part is the liability insurance, and that's perhaps the most important. Secondly, if the owner of the drone would like to have the aircraft itself insured.
Okay, now when you say liability, what does that encompass? I mean, if they hit somebody's car or if they drop it into a crowd somewhere, are they covered for that kind of thing under liability?
Yes, they would be. Pretty much any type of liability up to a point would be insured. I mean, if you're flying up in the airspace where you shouldn't be, it would probably not be covered.
Okay. So as long as they follow FAA guidelines and that sort of thing?
Yes, okay. Exactly.
Do they have to have like a tail number? Or are they insuring one specific drone? Or when they get insurance, is it covering all 4 of their drones?
That's a very good question. Typically, the first drone is one price. For each additional aircraft you add, you will pay for that additional one. So I would suggest if you're flying one most of the time, that's the one you want to have insured. Because there's always that chance if the day you're flying that second drone, and if it's not actually specifically noted on the policy, you might not have coverage.
Mm-hmm. And for if they did go with the hull insurance or the aircraft insured itself, what exactly does that cover? What if they just crash it and crack it or something like that? Does it have to be completely destroyed, or will they fix repairs?
Typically, they would probably replace it, either with a comparable model or maybe even a new one. So there's some variables as far as that goes. You want to make sure that, I mean, the hull insurance is not inexpensive. So if you had a $1,500 machine, it might not be worth it to get it covered. Obviously, if you have a more expensive model, and then of course you've got your camera equipment and all that included as well, that's where it might make sense.
Consider just getting the liability insurance, and that'll cover you if they're like, flying and the thing drops out of the air and hits somebody in the head or lands on top of somebody's car. That's primarily what this would cover them for, right? That's
right, absolutely. And, a lot of people say, well, I don't need liability insurance. I'm pretty careful. What harm can I do? Well, what if you lose your remote system? I don't know what you guys call it exactly, but and your aircraft lands on the road somewhere, or runs into a car on the freeway or something like that, or maybe it doesn't even hit a car. It just happens to land in the roadway, and a car has to veer out of the way and you cause an accident. Your drone causes an accident because of that. And there's injuries, there's repairs that need to be made to those vehicles, and they come after you. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do if you don't have the insurance?
Exactly. Now, and what are the limits? Is a typical policy like $1 million coverage, or?
Yeah, it wouldn't pay to go with anything less. Most of the carriers are offering $1 million policy, and you can get even higher limits than that in many cases.
And now, the first thing they're going to ask me down in the comments is how much. So a typical drone policy, not for a $4,000 drone, but let's just say they're flying a Phantom or a Typhoon. They spend about $1,400 on it. They're experienced pilots. Are we talking like between $900, $1,100 a year type of thing, somewhere in that general ballpark?
You're about right. Maybe $1,100, $1,200 a year. But the beauty of it is you don't even have to. They have financing for these things. You don't have to pay for it all at once. And really, the people that need this coverage, it's not so much the hobbyist, which brings up a whole other question, which we can talk about in a minute. But it's the guy that is using his that has a business. He's making a business or trying to make a business out of using his drone. He's
Like wedding photographers, roof inspectors, etc.
Exactly, exactly. So your videographer, your, they're using these things now for real estate inspections, agriculture, all those things. And the problem is if you don't have the insurance, number one, it's going to be more difficult to get the job because the people that are hiring you are going to require that you have insurance.
Yeah,
And
I've had that happen to me already.
right.
Yeah.
And I know you're involved with search and rescue. If they're being used for that, there is some liability as well, even though that's not maybe a money-making venture for the owner of the aircraft. You can certainly get liability insurance for that while they're being used for search and rescue as well.
Is there anything else that we need to go over as far as
A couple
insurance?
Things, a couple things. A lot of people think that while they're flying, if they're a hobbyist, that maybe there's coverage on their homeowner's policy. And that will vary depending on who your insurance carrier is.
If somebody wants to get a hold of you, what would be the best way? Is there like email address or telephone number?
Yes. Phone number is 530-386-6121. And then my email is larry@fivestarspecialty.com.
Okay. All one word.
All one word.
Well, there you go, gang. If you want to give Larry a call, we posted his number down below. At least give him a call, describe what you've got and what do you want to use it for, and let him give you a quote and tell you what it's going to cost you. That doesn't cost you anything to look into it, but I highly recommend you at least look into it if you're a serious drone pilot and you're not going to, just give this thing to your grandson in a couple of months. But if you're going to stick with it like I am, then get your drone, get yourself and your family insured just in case you have an accident. Remember, these things are just mechanical. I don't care how good you are at flying your drone. All it takes is one speed control on your drone to take a crap or motor go out or the flight controller go haywire on you, and that thing is coming to the ground fast and hard. Jim Bowers, Demunseed here on the YouTube network. Hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to kiss the wife for me, and as always, make it a wet one. See you later. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
Yep.
Don't be an idiot. Subscribe to Demunseed.